all here. Good to see you on Zoom. Good to see you on Facebook Live. Good to see you on YouTube later in the week. If you want to catch us there, just wonderful to see you all. And we're in the middle of High Holy Days. We're in the middle of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So we want to acknowledge that. And it's a time of beginning, you know, in the Judaic tradition. So, and we're here in Kehillah, which is a synagogue, so it works so beautifully. We love all traditions, as you know, those of you who have been with us for a while. So, this is our new situation here. We're trying this out because we are inspired to really cast a vision for a new way of doing community, and that involves a new way of doing Sunday service as well. So, I'm grateful that you all stayed, that you stayed in your seats, that you didn't get scared away by it. Gosh, it's so good to see you. Anyway, the theme for the year is abundance in the golden age. And what's the golden age? The golden age is the vision of the new world that is emerging. And it is emerging. Sometimes we get scared that everything's going to hell in a handbasket, you know. And the reality is that this time has been able to come up, catch this, it's been able to emerge, this difficult time, because the consciousness is ready for it. The consciousness was not ready for it hundreds of years ago. Our consciousness has now evolved, and can you feel it? People all over the world waking up, knowing oneness, being the light, meditations all over the place, you know, on social media and so forth. The world is waking up. And so when we talk about the golden age here, which we've been talking about all year, we are talking about this new world. And our job, because we came to the planet at this time, our job is to hold that vision, to see that vision, and to live that vision, to be what we want to see in the world. And so I know that that's what we're about, and I'm so impressed and inspired by all of you who are doing that so beautifully. We have a beautiful community. Those who are here, those who aren't here today, who couldn't be here. It's wonderful. So the theme, the topic rather this week is community and abundance. Now I had a whole other topic in mind at the beginning of the week when I needed to give these topics, and then all of a sudden I heard this voice, community and abundance. I'm like, well, I had a different idea. I don't even know what that means, frankly, in terms of a talk and so forth. However, you know, Spirit doesn't give an idea without also giving the means of its fulfillment. So the way this is going to work today is I'm going to talk, I'm going to say a few things, and then I'm going to invite you all to participate if you feel moved. When you feel moved. Yeah, Matt's very happy about this. He's doing a dance up in the front. So, abundance, abundance, abundance. The definition I like the best for abundance is affluence. Because the word affluence means flow. It means the flowing. And that's what abundance really is. It's not something quantifiable. And we try to do that. We make it something quantifiable. Like it means most of us, a lot of us, not most of us, a lot of us have oftentimes thought of abundance as money in the bank, you know, as a good retirement fund, as whatever we think of it, but whatever money in the bank and financial abundance looks like to us, that's how we think of abundance. That's not really what it is. For me, abundance is the flow of all good in our lives. It's the flow of love, it's the flow of peace, it's the flow of harmony, it's the flow of divine order, it's the flow of right relationships, it's the flow of inspired work. It's the flow, you get it, right? It's the flow of health and wholeness and vitality. And so that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about abundance. And yes, does it outpicture as financial stability? Yes, it does. It also outpictures that way. However, what comes first, you all know this, what comes first is consciousness, right? The consciousness. I have to be it to see it. And that's the key, and that's the challenge lots of times. How can I, if I want to live the abundant life, if I want to and no abundance in every area of my life, in every area, then how can I be that? How can I be the consciousness of what's the word I want to use? The consciousness of pure love when my relationships are not looking so good. When there are people that are betraying me. I was just talking with somebody the other day, people betraying her in her life, How can I be the consciousness of love and forgiveness in the midst of that? In the midst of a declining bank account, how can I be the consciousness of prosperity? How can I know still that all my needs are met? And here's the thing, you can know it because you know who you are. And that's first and foremost. That was the most important thing for me. And I've worked on, believe me, I have worked on abundance and money a lot of years. And what it came down to, I realized a long time ago, I think even before I went to Agape. By the way, I'm going to stop for a second. This is Ben Dowling down here. Any of you who have been to Agape, who have watched Agape, he's an amazing pianist. Yeah, keyboard artist. He's wonderful. And I just want to acknowledge you. Of course, now I totally forgot where I was going. But I remember I wanted to acknowledge you first and foremost. And so from Agape International, and has moved to this area. So thank you for being with us. And Narinja, right? Thank you for being with us today. Now, where was I going? Oh, I realized even pre-Agape, or maybe it was probably when I was in practitioner training, I realized, that what I needed to know first was that God is my life. That if I knew that, then everything else is just going to flow. I caught it so early on that that's what I need to know. And so day after day, year after year, meditation after meditation, God is my life. Inhale, God is. Exhale, my life. That has been a practice for so many years. And out of that practice then, I know that everything is taken care of, that all needs are met, always. And has it been difficult sometimes? Yeah, I was, the single mother of two daughters, raising two daughters. It was not easy, I just won't go into the story. But it wasn't easy, and I knew I had to look beyond that condition. So whatever condition you're experiencing in your life, you get to look beyond it to the truth. And the truth is that spirit, the universe, the life force, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, is always for us. It created us out of itself, and it always supports us, maintains us, sustains us. What gets in the way? We do. We do. And I don't want anybody to go into guilt or anything like that, because it's really not our fault. It was the way I was raised, the way you were raised in many situations. I come from a family that there were 7 kids, and pretty much working class family. And nobody ever talked about how there wasn't enough, but you could sure feel it sometimes. Sometimes that's worse, right? When you can feel something, but it's not spoken. And the same is true with relationships, with jobs, with all those structures of our lives. We get implanted. We're like sponges when we're little babies coming out. And we just take all this in because we don't know any better. It's the environment around us. It's our family. It's our culture. It's our education. And then, of course, for me, growing up Catholic and being a nun, poverty was a great thing, right? Not. And so I got to see that, poverty, what I learned in the convent, actually, was poverty of spirit. That's what it was really about. Believe it or not, it took the convent for me to be liberated from all of those thoughts and ideas, because it was a very progressive community that was mystical, based in the mystic consciousness of spirit in my life as my life. And so that was so powerful. So that was a great foundation for when I stepped into religious science at the time, Agape now. And we're so blessed to be part of Agape. Do I need to tell you that? We're so blessed because it takes the beautiful metaphysical teachings to a whole different mystical place. And that's what touches my soul. That's what I want to do, because I know that when I know who I am, when I know who you are, I see us all in the light, and that therefore I see abundance. I look at all of you and yeah, we all have what we need within us. We all have it already. We were born with it. You know, we are qualified, so to speak, pre-qualified from the moment we were born. So here's the thing, spirit is infinite supply. The spirit that created the universe, the source of all things, is infinite supply. It never runs out. It never runs out. And spirit is your life, my life, your life. And so what does that say? If spirit is my life, my logical mind got to work on this at first. If spirit is my very life, the source of all good is within me already. The source is who I am. The source is who you are. Then what? The logical outcome is I have everything I need within me. And what I need to do is let go of those old patterns, those old thought forms that have reared their lovely little heads and said differently. And that, by the way, is a blessing. It's a blessing that we see where we need to grow. It's a blessing because it takes us deeper in consciousness, you know? So that's the key to me. I know who I am. I know what I am. You know, Paul Selig, anybody here familiar with Paul Selig and his books? He's a channel. He's amazing, amazing, amazing. Just speaks, well, when I hear and when I read his stuff, it's truth. And what he says is, I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. And it's beautiful just to say that to yourself over and over and over again. Say right now, look to somebody and say, I know who I am. I know what I am. I know who you are. I know what you are. Awesome beings of light. With everything we could possibly need. We are pre-qualified. All right, you're pre-qualified to live the abundant life in every area of your life. So, the top, and every week we'll look at different aspects of abundance and how we can grow in that abundance consciousness, because that's what we were meant to be. And in the golden age, that's what's meant. The abundance consciousness, Lynn Twist says it so well. She talks about a sufficiency for everyone. It doesn't mean everyone's a millionaire. What it means is everybody has a sufficiency. And when we're on this planet, you know, if we are all being who we are meant to be, expressing ourselves at the highest level we can express ourselves, living our joy, it doesn't mean drudgery, it means living our joy. I'm living my joy, I'm doing what I love to do. Then that abundance starts to flow and everybody on this planet will be taken care of. The resources are here. The source is here. And we know even the resources are here. Every day when I eat a meal or eat some food, you know, I give thanks for it. And I also know that there is plenty for everyone on this planet. There's plenty. And then affirm a generous sharing of resources by all of us so everyone can be fed. Anyway, abundance is here, it is presence. So, what I want to talk just a minute, and then I'm going to open it up to you. So just be aware, is there anything that wants to be said? Don't just talk to talk, you know. It needs to come from that wellspring within yourself. So, community and abundance. And as the week went on, I began to understand what that meant in terms of this talk. And what it means to me in terms of this talk at this particular moment is within a community is an abundance of everything it needs. Always, always. And also it means to me that when we are in community and supporting each other, that we are that abundance for each other as well. So it's an opportunity to experience more abundance, to express more abundance, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what happened this week here at Agape Bay Area. So you know, we talked last week about co-creating a new kind of community and so forth, And during this past week, our music director, Val Roberts, who now lives in Delaware, by the way, our music director couldn't find a musician for this week. On top of that, what we knew we wanted to do financially is cut back a little bit, because we knew that the summer had been difficult. By the way, race consciousness in churches, the summer is always difficult. It does not have to be that way. Let's not fall into that. So, anyway, so what happened, and we were all just being with it, the board and I were being with it, and what's going to happen here, and trusting. And two people showed up to do it. Arlene here, who also did the meditation with the bowls and is just this beautiful consciousness, and offered to do it for free, complimentary. And then, you know, Jana Young, who isn't with us on Zoom today, but because she's traveling, visiting her parents in North Carolina. However, her husband, David Young, some of you have met David, he's a musician. What's that? Is he up here? Ah, David, hi. Let's wave to David. Hi. And David Young, who has played in bands and who is an amazing vocalist and guitarist, I believe, right, David? Tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, both of them volunteered to just do it gratis for us. And wow, I mean, for us that was a big demonstration. And that was wonderful. And then all kinds of things are showing up, and all kinds of opportunities are here. And the vision that I and the board right now are having is that there's an opportunity for everybody to do what you love to do and to give what you love to give. Yesterday, John and I and Don, we were all at Alameda Pride, and that was absolutely, and Jim came by. I wasn't there when you came by. and so, you know, it's everybody showing up. And here's also abundance in community. I've always wanted to do that, and we've always talked about doing that. And then John shows up and does it, you know. And the gay men's chorus sang, and he's part of the gay men's chorus. And so that was a great connection as well. So do you see how things happen when you set an intention, and when you're willing to be it, and when you're willing to give your gifts, not someone else's gifts, but your gifts. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be a great bookkeeper, for example, for the community. That wouldn't be my gift. I mean, I can keep my own books, but you know, I wouldn't be so good at that. And so I do what I think I'm fairly good at. You see, we all do, and what I love to do, that's the key. What I'm good at and what I love to do. What are you good at? What do you love to do? How do you like to serve? Because really and truly, that's what it's about. It's not serving with drudgery. It's not giving from a place of drudgery. Did you feel that when Arlene was singing? Was he kind of like, oh, I have to sing this morning, you know? Oh, I have to do the bowls this morning. Even though he, you know, and he comes from Lake County. He comes from a few hours, you know, up the road. So he loves it enough, and he loves the community enough to give. Do you see what I'm saying? So community and abundance, that's kind of what showed up. We got to live it this week. And with that, I want to just ask you, kind of go within, has any of this spoken to you, or what does community and abundance mean to you? I could tell you the whole story of Agape International, too, and you would see that. We started with $17 in the bank, you know. Remember that story, Lindsay? Yeah, we started with $17 in the bank, and how that, just look what happened. And it's because people showed up doing what they love to do and serving with joy. And sometimes we did, those of us who began it, sometimes we did what we didn't love to do, but you know what? Because we love the community so much, it worked, it was great, it was fun. I mean, believe it or not, we used to do the Sunday bulletin that we gave out to everybody, you know? The bulletin, it had announcements in it, it had all that stuff. I did that, believe it or not. I did that bulletin every week for the first few years. And then Reverend Michael took it to the copier place and got it copied. You know, I mean, that's how we did at the beginning. We did what needed to be done with joy. And so, anyway, That's all I have to say. So I'm going to open it up for a few minutes of dialogue, and if none of you have anything you want to say, that's fine too. I want to give a couple of guidelines. Watch yourself and don't go on and on and on. You know what I mean. I have to say this in classes too. Just be as, what's the word I want, concise as you can. And I know the reason I'm doing this is because I know there's a collective wisdom in here. So there's a collective wisdom, and sometimes it doesn't all come out because I'm a talking head up there, even though lots of times I channel that collective wisdom. Do you hear what I'm saying? So what I want you to know is that each of you is a valuable mouthpiece for the infinite, and just know that. Know that. So are you wanting the mic? Okay, I might come and grab it from you at any point. All right.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt. I wanted to speak to this topic of affluence because I have been performing service here for a number of years, and I enjoy it very much. And I am looking to pull my energy into another task. And as I do that to change another aspect of my life, to give in another manner, I'm not going to be giving the same kind of energy here. And what I've noticed is that it is important to focus on what you need to focus on in order to have affluence not only be in your life, but to change in your life. And I think what's interesting for me is when I look at affluence, I often think of this larger context of everything moving around us and energy and in connection and all of this kind of ephemeral, well, it's just sort of the way it goes. And what I realize is that there's not a level or a goal that I need to achieve. Oftentimes in this culture, we want to measure it. We want to say, oh, I have this many cars, I have a house, I have this, I have that. So the measurement is not the point. It's that what I'm doing is I am choosing now to move my energy into becoming a chaplain. Because I think I can help people in crisis in a lot of situations. So as I'm shifting that energy and that goal, that does not mean I'm shifting the amount of energy that I have living every day. And that living every day, that is affluence. And I think it is, when I say like all needs fulfilled in order for me to keep doing what I'm doing. It's not like all of a sudden they go, well, you need a house. Well, you need a boat. I'm like, no, if a time comes when I need a boat will appear. I don't think I'm going to need a boat. Doesn't mean I might not. I mean, maybe I end up on the Coast Guard helping them. I don't know. The idea is I roll with how I'm feeling right now and looking at a goal. What it ends up looking like in the long run is not a measurable thing. That's what I wanted to share.
Thanks so much, Matt. That's beautiful. And by the way, those of you on Zoom, if you want to participate, put something in the chat room, and Matt will let me know. That brings to mind, too, another principle, is that when there's a vacuum, life rushes in to fill a vacuum. Think of that, everyone. When there's a vacuum in your life, in any way, shape, or form, life, spirit, rushes in, because here's what's always been said in New Thought: the universe abhors a vacuum. So right now, we have a little bit of a vacuum here in terms of Zoom. A couple of people have already stepped up and said they want to do it. And we're just trusting that it's all going to work out. And the board has been amazing about that. So, yeah. Rodney.
I'm so proud to be a member of Agape, and I'm like Matt. I've served Agape for many years now. I serve out of the love of my heart to serve that which serves me. And out of that, I can't believe the abundance that I have in my life. It's not just monetary abundance. It's spiritually, mentally, and it's just so much. And that I don't have a lot of money in my life, but Spirit provides for me. You know, I have a place to live, I have food on my table, and I want for nothing. And that's out of the abundance of the love of my heart and the love that I love to serve not just Agape, but the whole world. And I'm proud to be a child of God, and I know that God is my life.
Thank you, Rodney, and thank you for your service. You all don't have to come up here if you want. You want it? You can sit or whatever.
All right, well, hi, my name is Lindsay. My artist name is Bangs415. I rap and I sing. And I love the city of Oakland. I've been to 2 shows here this weekend, and I'm from Marin. But just a tiny intro, I'm a full-time student at SF State, and I come from religious science, Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, and but when I went to Reverend Dr. Michael's church a couple weeks ago, and then I learned that this was here, I was like, what? And I was like, I have been desiring, for like a reawakening of, he said, do you feel how we feel in this service right now? And I was like, yes, because I have an agreement with Creator. I get like goosebumps, and it's like all service long, I'm like goosebumping. And he's like, you can feel like this all the time with just a little daily practice. And I was like, okay, I've got to get my daily practice. But anyway, so I just wanted to offer, hopefully, maybe I can start working on some stuff. I'm getting back into my music. And so I'm nervous, right? I'm nervous, but it's so fun to have a loving, caring, spiritual family to practice with, and then maybe do some more classes and get to my terminology on point. And so, yeah, I would love to talk and maybe contribute in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay, and welcome. Anybody else have anything that you want to? Jim.
So in a minute, I'm going to talk about our financial abundance when we get to circulation. But what I'm feeling is we started something new, co-creation, and the energy is palpable. It's like, wow, something new. We come in, there's a new seating arrangement, and an amazing energy that you bring, that we all bring, that it feels like new life is being created. We're creating, and we're doing this all together. What I envision is that the board goes away. We have leaders, we have a core group, but the board kind of sets us aside from the rest. So let's co-create something new and change how we do that. And that's what I'm focusing on. So you'll hear more about that as we go through the next few weeks and months together.
Okay, anybody? Oh, 2 people, okay. Oh, Charlie, then just pass it on down.
Reverend John, I just want to try to go quickly, but moved, like I haven't been moved here in a while, I want to be honest. And when Arlene came up and sang, oh my God, and the power, like there was like this yes, like that I had. I want to say that because I don't want to even, like the power that we have in our hearts and in our bodies and in our haras. And I felt, like that power that we all have within us. And I haven't felt, I've noticed I've withdrawn because I haven't been feeling that life force, that yes. And and I'm feeling it. And I'm feeling it in the circle, and I'm feeling it in what's being created. I'm feeling it in the co-creation. And I just want to speak that because I can feel the palpability of that power. And the words that I'm reminded of are the Thich Nhat Hanh great saying, which has always inspired me so much, is the next great Buddha comes through the Sangha. That co-awakening and that power, and it's powerful when you speak about abundance, Reverend Joan. Like to make stuff happen on so many levels. So I just wanted to speak that into the circle. Thank you so much.
I just want to say my name is Victor, and I've known Reverend Joan for a long time. And I was asked last Sunday, what brought you here? And I had to think back many years, and I said, Reverend Joan. And she said, the lady asked me, says, well, what was it about her? And I said, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, Midwest, and fifth generation Georgia Southern Baptist. And I said, she reminded me of Reverend Myers, my teacher at our church in Ohio. And I says, I've never heard a white woman pray like that, you know? And I said, isn't it strange that I find my blackness through this other person? And I says, and I've been attached ever since. But what I want to say to us as individuals, if that we don't volunteer our energy, that we don't get anything back. And the school system that I came from was from the two employers that I worked for. One was the airlines, and the other was Peralta School, community colleges. And I just want to say that we all came from the I want to do. The question is, how do we do that? And there is, as we use this circle to share information, there is a book called How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. And it's no longer in paperback, but it's on audio. And I asked Joan a question this morning, which she's going to be working on. And I've been thinking that in Finland, which has one of the highest rated school systems in the world, are teaching critical thinking in the kindergarten, and it goes up into the 8th grade. And they know how to see something that is misinformed and misleading starting in kindergarten. And by the time they get to the 7th grade or so, they are skilled at following unseen flaws. And there is a saying in Finnish that I just gravitated to this week, and it was my week's lesson, and that is that everyone is entitled to an opinion. But we all have the responsibilities of presenting the factual information that supports that opinion. And that's what I have to say. And that's why I'm glad I'm here.
I'm Leslie, and something just flashed in my mind about community and abundance. And this has been a very precious place for me to recover from a lot in my life. I now term it, I fell down the stairs. So much happened in my life. And part of what happened was that I ended up in a position, having been very affluent, in a place where I've had to really rebuild on that level. And one of the things that I learned in childhood was that tithing was important. And my father always tithed. And when I got to Agape, I started tithing no matter how much I was making. And I was thinking about that in relation to how we sustain this community. And honestly, the income that comes to me does keep me going, but I've made so much more in my life. And yet, I still, every week, I think about what has come in, and I provide 10% through my Venmo every week. And you know what the funny thing is? No matter how small the amount that has come in, I don't miss that 10%. And it is a blessing that many people talk about. It's in the Bible, and it is talked about by Edwin Gaines a lot. But I just wanted to put that out there, that if we're struggling, we may be struggling, financially on individual levels. And the concept of taking on tithing to bring blessings to our community and to ourselves is a really lovely thing to do. It's not, I know sometimes churches insist upon it, like the Latter-day Saints church, they will investigate people's books and say, you must give this amount. Well, it's not about that, but it's about my heart, and it's about like, okay, this amount came in this week from work that I did, and I'm going to give it, it's pre-tax 10%, and I have never missed the money. And I'm astonished that I don't miss the money. So I just wanted to put that out there, that this is a way that we sustain our community, and that we bring blessings into our community, and we bring blessings into our own lives. And so I'm putting that out there. That is my commitment, like going forward. And we can divert some of our 10% when we're making huge amounts, right? If we want to give it to additional places. But right now, my commitment is here. And I just challenge everyone to take home the idea of what is tithing and what value might it give to my life and to this community. There we go.
Thank you, Leslie. Is there anybody online that wants to say anything? Okay, because I want to say something about it too.
Yeah, I also want to say something about, right when you said Venmo, my phone piped in a Venmo request that's an add-on notification. Literally, I was like, whoa. Okay, so it just did. I was like, that's amazing.
Thank you, Matt. So I want to just add to, when we're tithing, yes, it's to the community or it's to whatever, but bottom line, tithing is giving 10% back to the source that supplies us in the first place. That's what it really is. So I'm giving back to Spirit that which Spirit has blessed me with. And thank you, Leslie, because it's made, well, I think I've told you all a few times, it's made a huge difference in my life. I mean, the minute I started tithing, everything started to change financially. So anyway, thank you. And I didn't, and don't tithe to get back, by the way. We don't tithe to get. We tithe when our heart says to do it. Okay, I'm going to Shara and then John, and then we're going to stop.
I know, right? Hi, my name is Tashara, and I volunteer once a month, every first Sunday, so you'll see me on the first Sunday as a greeter. And when I first started, it was me and my daughter, and I was talking to her about meditating, trying to teach her how to meditate. And then one day, she came to me and she said, Mom, I've been meditating. And I said, oh, good. She said, Michael Bedwin taught me. I said, what? I told you this, but then I said, okay. It doesn't matter who told you, how you got it, when it came in, just good. And she said, it's a church, so that was our thing. So while I was sitting here and I was, Reverend Jones is just like, I'd be channeling stuff to her, and afterwards I come and I was like, I was thinking that and I'm going that way and this and that. And it just told me, like, you need to do something. You need to be more than just present. You need to help out. And I said, okay, I can dedicate one Sunday, because we have a bunch of stuff in the community. We're helping with the house list. My husband, he's running for city council in Oakland. It's a lot of stuff that we have going on, and sometimes I feel spreaded. So then I have to come back within, because it's not my duty to change people or even help people. I just need to help myself, and then by helping myself, I help the community. So I do what I can, because, you don't want to come and you're burnt out and your energy is low. So you always have to remember that. So I'm going to cut it with this, because I heard you were saying that, you want to do which, like when you were singing, it was like, I'm just letting free, I'm just letting it out. And it's just, I'm creating, right? So sometimes when I go into work, I have a cleaning business, it's like, oh, do I want to do that? But before I sit and I meditate and I bring up the joy I can picture, I visualize the person coming in or somebody sitting at their desk, and they smell this smell or lavender or whatever I put in there, and they just smile and they're happy. Or somebody's getting off of work and it was a tough work day, and then they come and they sit down and light a candle and they feel good, and I help that. So then I visualize that, and then it gives me the energy. So to bring it all back together with the community, just do what you feel, and don't be burnt out. Don't let yourself get burnt out. And when it calls, and then that's the key. It's like, oh, I got to do this. Then do it with love.
Thank you, Tashara. And when we all show up and do what we're called to do and what brings us joy, then it all gets done, frankly. It really does. John, you are the last word, except for me.
It's very fitting. It's great to be here on this Sunday. And I talked to Lucy Ragnelli, and she sends her love. And I talked to her quite a bit during the week, and I helped her cooking. She would love to have your prayers. And it's amazing because I'm there cooking, and yet I seem to get like 10 times out of it what she receives from me. I don't know. And she says things like, I say, can I ask you a question? She says, you are so funny. You're always asking me if you can ask me a question. You can ask me anything. And I'm like, okay. And in our discussions, she said to me, John, the most important appointment every day is with God. And I'm holding vigil for the meditation class, which is beautiful. And it's 2 hours of holding vigil, so I go deep. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And it is just a beautiful way to start the morning. And, I said to her today, I was out in the car, and I said, Lucy, all these questions are coming about, what am I here to do? What are we here to do? What's Agape here to do? And we're talking about the changes and everything. And I found myself saying, every single time a question comes up, I need to pray and meditate. And she goes, that's right, John. and I find myself saying about you, Reverend Joan, this is my teacher. I'm always like, there are a whole bunch of people that I know at the Alameda Pride in different walks of life. And I kept saying, this is my spiritual teacher. This is my greatest teacher. This is my teacher. And so I pulled this up because this was on my cake when I graduated from UC Berkeley as a dramatic arts student. I have always felt that the true textbook for the pupil is his teacher. And when I started with Reverend Joan 15 years or so ago, I was kind of a hot mess. And I have done so much healing and growing and learning. And I just want to reiterate, as we grow and we have singers that show up with their amazing, beautiful talents, and the amazing things I heard from Dawn and from our board president, Jim, and the creation that's happening. I'm seeing it behind the scenes and wonderful board members. And, come pray on it with the practitioners. Come to the classes. Ask a bunch of questions. Ask God a bunch of questions. And what I found with that and turning to the God within, I got to the point years ago, I said, God, can you write it in crayon? Can you make it huge? Because I'm kind of thick. Because I just didn't feel like I was hearing things. And that so helped me. And the shares are so beautiful. These shares that we are hearing from this wonderful gentleman here and from everybody in the community. And it's just a lot of love. So be a part of the love. And thank you for being one of the most beautiful teachers I've ever met. Thank you. We are abundance. We are affluence. We just are. And keep that appointment with God. Like Lucy says.
For those of you who don't know, Lucy is Ragnelli is a practitioner here, and she fell a few weeks ago. And John's been cooking for her, and other people have been assisting her. So it's been really a beautiful example of community. All right, because that's what we're about, community. Union with, community, union with. And at the deepest level. We can be in union with people at all levels, but this is that deep soul level. We used to say at the beginning of Agape, and I always think here too, anybody that comes in really has been with us eternally at the soul level. And it's a beautiful thing. So we are going to move into prayer now. Shall I stand or I'm going to stand because my energy is